It's 2 a.m. You can't sleep, so you do what everyone does. You grab your phone. You scroll through nothing. You put something on in the background. Maybe you get up and eat cereal standing in the kitchen. Maybe you start a game. Watch something you've already seen 3 times. Anything to fill the quiet. And somewhere around 3 a.m., staring at a ceiling or a screen, you think, what is wrong with me? Nothing. Absolutely nothing is wrong with you. But here's what nobody tells you. Ancient humans woke up in the middle of the night too. Not because something scared them. Not because they were anxious. On purpose. Every single night. For 300,000 years. Waking up at 2 a.m. wasn't insomnia. It was the most human thing you could do. And what they did with those hours, that's the part that changes everything. Let's start 1 million years ago. Wonderwehr Cave, South Africa. This is where archaeologists found the oldest confirmed evidence of humans controlling fire. And here's what fire actually did. It's not what you think. Yes, it kept people warm. Yes, it cooked food. Before fire, every primate on the planet did the same thing when the sun went down. You found a safe spot, you stayed still, and you waited for morning. Moving at night meant becoming food. Leopards, hyenas, wolves, all of them could see perfectly in the dark. You couldn't. Fire changed that equation completely. A campfire creates a circle of safety roughly 30 feet wide. Inside that circle, predators won't come. Outside it, you die. This is not an exaggeration. Anthropologists studying modern hunter-gatherer groups found that people who wander away from the fire at night are still significantly more likely to be killed by predators even today. But protection wasn't even the biggest thing fire gave humans. It gave them time. Before fire, the useful day ended at sunset, maybe 12 hours in summer, 8 in winter. Fire added 2 to 4 usable hours to every single night. And over thousands of generations, those hours changed our species in ways we're still discovering. In 2014, anthropologist Polly Wiesner spent years recording conversations among the Jew/Hoansi Bushmen of the Kalahari Desert, one of the last groups on Earth still living something close to the original human way. What she found stopped her cold. During the day, 80% of conversations were practical. Who's hunting where? Which plants are ready? Complaints. Negotiations. Work talk. But at night, around the fire, 81% of conversations were stories. Not logistics. Stories. Tales of people in distant places. Adventures. Myths about how the world began. Jokes that made the whole camp laugh until they couldn't breathe. The campfire was the original theater. The original classroom. The original church. It's where humans learned to imagine things that didn't exist yet. It's where we stopped being animals that reacted to the world and started being creatures who could build one. It's where we became us. But here's where it gets really strange. Because those hours around the fire weren't even the most important part of the human night. In 2001, historian Roger Kirch published a paper that broke sleep science completely. He had spent 16 years digging through historical records. Prayer books from the 1400s, court records, diaries, medical texts, letters from ordinary people, even passages in Homer's Odyssey, written nearly 3,000 years ago. All of them mention the same thing. First sleep, and second sleep. Before the industrial age, humans did not sleep in one continuous block. They went to bed shortly after dark, slept for about 4 hours, then woke up, stayed awake for 1 to 2 hours, then went back to sleep until dawn. This wasn't insomnia. This was just sleep. Normal, natural human sleep. The way every person on Earth slept for thousands of years. And the historians who had been reading these records for centuries, they kept mistranslating first sleep as something else. Because they literally could not imagine that people ever slept differently than we do now. The assumption was so deep that translators rewrote ancient Greek and medieval Latin just to make it fit modern experience. They edited 300,000 years of human biology out of the historical record because it didn't match 100 years of electric light. So what did people do during that 1 to 2 hour window in the middle of the night? Everything. A 16th century French physician wrote that couples should use this window to conceive children because they would do it better. People visited neighbors. They lay in bed and interpreted their dreams while they were still fresh. They prayed. They wrote. They simply existed in the darkness and thought. A doctor's manual from the 1500s literally advised patients. The best time to study and reflect is during the watch. The quiet hours between first and second sleep, when a mind is calm and the world is completely still. The watch. That's what they called it. Not insomnia, not a disorder. The watch. A recognized, valued, essential part of the human night. Then science confirmed what history had been saying all along. In 1992, psychiatrist Thomas Wehr at the National Institute of Mental Health ran an experiment. He took volunteers and removed all artificial light from their lives. Complete darkness for 14 hours every night, just like our ancestors before electric light. Within weeks, every single participant did the same thing. Nobody told them to. Nobody suggested it. Their bodies just did it. 4 hours of sleep, 1 to 3 hours of quiet wakefulness, then 4 more hours of sleep. The 300,000-year program was still running. It had just been overridden by a light bulb. But here's the part that truly floored Wehr's team. He measured their hormone levels during that wakeful window and found something nobody expected. Their brains were producing elevated levels of prolactin, the same hormone released during deep meditation, the same hormone released after orgasm. They described the feeling as peaceful, reflective, weightless, unlike any normal waking state they had ever experienced. It wasn't a gap in sleep. It was its own state of consciousness, a distinct, specific, ancient state of human experience that most people alive today have never once felt. So what killed it? Thomas Edison commercialized the electric light bulb, and within one generation, the human night as it had existed for 300,000 years was gone. Before that, it happened gradually. Cities began installing street lamps in the 1600s. Cheaper candles, then gas lamps, then electricity. The darkness retreated slowly, block by block, year by year. Here's a word you use every day without knowing where it came from. Curfew. From the French couvre-feu. It literally means cover fire. In medieval towns, a bell rang every night telling everyone to extinguish their fires. Because night was supposed to be dark. Night was when you were vulnerable. Walking outside after dark without a lantern was illegal in many medieval cities. People were afraid of the dark in a way we literally cannot understand anymore. And then we conquered it. We flooded it with light. We call it progress. But here's what we lost. Modern humans are exposed to artificial light an average of 7 to 8 hours after sunset. The blue light from your phone at 11 p.m., your brain cannot tell the difference between that and the midday sun. It shuts off melatonin production. It pushes your entire circadian rhythm back by hours. It fragments your sleep. Researchers found that just 1 week of camping with zero artificial light resets your melatonin cycle by nearly 2 hours. Your body starts producing melatonin at sunset, just like it was designed to. 1 week. That's how fast 300,000 years of programming reasserts itself. It was never gone. It was just waiting in that quiet meditative window between first and second sleep. The watch. That state where subjects described as peaceful and unlike anything else. It doesn't exist for most modern people anymore. Instead, we have insomnia, and we treat it like something is wrong with us. So here's the part nobody talks about. When you wake up at 2 a.m. and can't go back to sleep, you don't reach for silence. You reach for a screen. You fill the darkness with light. You override the exact signal your body is sending you. Your ancient ancestors lying awake in the middle of the night, they didn't have a phone to grab. They lay in the dark and thought. They talked quietly to whoever was beside them. They listened to the fire. They felt that prolactin-soaked, meditative, completely human state of consciousness. And then they went back to sleep. For 300,000 years, the middle of the night wasn't a problem. It was the most human part of the day. So the next time you wake up at 2 a.m., don't reach for the phone. Just lie there. Let the dark be dark. Because somewhere inside you, buried under every light bulb and every screen and every notification that ever interrupted your sleep, there's a program still running. It has been running for 300,000 years. And it is not broken. It is just waiting for you to be quiet enough to feel it.